Hello, and welcome to Varieties of Slice of Life, an Otaku Media podcast. As always, I am Anthony, and joining me today is the lovely Zach.
Hello.
And Jarrett.
Salutations, Internet.
We are a bi-monthly podcast talking about games, anime, and a whole bunch of stuff. Today we're going to be talking about Konosuba.
I mean, I tried that name.
Gods blessed on this wonderful world. Yeah, I think that's the English translation of that.
Yeah, that's the English. I'm not even trying for the full official. I'd rather not slander it that bad.
It's like, 2 seasons, a movie, a couple OVAs, and a bunch of games. And a light novel as well, I forgot.
Yeah, light novel, it seems.
Yeah, they have a couple of spin-off light novels as well.
Did not know that.
Light novel is the source material as well.
Made by the same people that made ReZero, Isekai Quartet, Overlord, etc., so...
Well, the studio, yes.
Studio, yeah, not the creator writing-wise.
Yeah, because all those are very different.
Yeah, so... Jarrett just finished this.
Yeah.
Me and Zach have seen it a long time ago. Probably one of the funniest isekais I've ever seen.
Oh, definitely.
It hits all like the beats of it being a typical isekai, guy coming into this world, having a dumb power, so on and so forth. But I like the little twists that they do here and there throughout the series, and then I really like the characters that they build up. They're all like very funny, but they each have their own like thing about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then
definite, distinct personalities.
Yes,
between them.
They all have like running jokes too throughout the entire series, like Megumin just naming things just really dumb, weird names, and Darkness being a really odd masochist.
Aqua constantly having undead and strange things just follow her.
Cosmo just dying over and over again.
Yeah, that... Like, after the second time, I'm like, oh, this is just gonna be a thing with him. Okay. But then I like that he, later on, we'll talk about that, I actually like that he embraces it and he uses that. He uses that to win a fight.
Does he? I don't...
Yes.
Oh yeah, against the slime monster, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not very kind with it either. Like, you'll see his fucking skeleton. They're like, okay, yeah, he's gone.
A skeleton, but it's that weird, like the rest of it was fine, but the skull is that weird, lumpy shape of a very cartoony skeleton.
Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess let's start it with some of the plot. So, our main boy, I do this every time. Kazuma, there you go. Kazuma here. He almost gets hit by a car. Tractor, that's right. I forgot it was even worse. Because he was saving some girl, and it gave him a heart attack, which caused him to die. Because he was so scared.
What was it? The full thing was he went into shock, and then had a heart attack.
After he pissed his pants.
Yep.
Because they make sure that's also known. And even his family laughed at him because of that, which was kind of fucked up in my opinion, but didn't have to do my man dirty like that. Then he's presented in front of Aqua, and she's like, hey, this other world's pretty fucked. We're sending people over there as like a second chance kind of thing. Have fun.
Yeah.
And then they do that thing. It's like, oh yeah, you could choose one of these crazy weapons or powers or whatever the hell you want. And Cosmo, being a spiteful asshole, is like, oh yeah, I choose you. And then none of the other gods see a problem with that, and just were like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Which I'd love to think that it's because like Aqua is just like such a handful that they're just like, yeah, just get her the fuck out of here.
Yeah, she's something.
She's what, the goddess of water and springs or something like that?
Water and think it's pretty much just water, but I think that extends to like water and hot springs, something like that.
Hmm.
At least that's what the town in that world is modeled after her. So
Yeah, and then pretty much hijinks ensue from there.
as our boy Kazuma just treats this world like a regular RPG fantasy world, and then quickly realizes that nope. Yes and no.
Did you watch this subbed or dubbed, by the way, Jarrett?
Dubbed.
Dubbed, okay. Dub's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched the dub, but I have seen clips of it, and some jokes hit a lot better in dub.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The way that they play with audio and, like, just the subtle jokes that they put in there are fucking great.
Like, nothing gets me more than the thing where I think it's like Wiz says like thank you, and then he's like no thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and then she says something else, and he's like yes please. Like the voice actor for Konosuba in the dub sells some of the things so well.
Oh,
like
yeah. They just let him have as much fun as he wanted.
I think some of his best lines only come when he's not on screen. Like it's when someone else is talking about him and he's giving commentary about it while they're talking to him or about him. Some of those things are just great.
it was like it when you're like I feel like when they had to make like the most important part of like some of the characters is like their secondary voice. Like Kazuma has his normal voice, and then he has that low voice, and then Aqua has her yelling voice. I guess Darkness could have her like weird moans and stuff.
Or sexy voice, question mark?
Yeah, and then but like the dubbing choice definitely picked very well in that. Oh, I remember another one of my favorite lines being that, "Oh my god, is she aroused?"
Oh, yeah.
like the slow realization where it's like I am unstoppable in this body. It's like, oh my god, is she aroused?
I love that he looks at his hand and it like comes from off screen. You're like, oh my god.
Oh, I love that character.
Oh, the mask guy.
I love Vanir so much.
Yeah, he's weird. He's like what, one of 9, or there's 9 pieces of him, or
8.
something. 8.
Or sorry, he's one of the 8, Demon Devil King's generals.
No, because he comes back, but like the mask has a number 2 on it now.
Yeah, he just said that's one of many lives. So he hasn't said how many. And he's just like, yeah, no, you picked me up so bad. I had to give it one of my lives, but I'm back.
Yeah. And then I like that we just have like characters in the world that don't join the party per se, but are there, like the thief girl.
Oh, Chris
Yeah.
and Wiz.
I love Wiz.
Wiz is great. I love that Wiz's thing is that the harder she works, the poorer she gets.
She just wants to run a little shop.
Yeah.
And I love how she is like a lich and like considered like to be super evil, but nobody really cares.
Yeah.
She's so like unthreatening. I love the hot springs trip where she just keeps like almost dying.
Yeah. I have to say, it's like taking it a step away from the characters. The way that they treat this world is very interesting. Because they keep a lot of tropes like the same for, like what your quote unquote, like almost Tolkien kind of like fantasy world is. But then they just turn some things on their ear. Because like Wiz being a lich, but she's not evil. Actually, how they deal with liches in general, like the only 2 liches we've seen in the show have both been nice. They've been Wiz, and they were Kilian? Yeah, Kilian, the dude who just became a lich to save the woman that he loved.
I don't remember him.
They had found a dungeon, but like it had already been explored, except someone found a new passageway. So Kazuma and Aqua went in to go explore that for a quest, and they just found him there. and that's where we learn that undead are highly attracted to Aqua.
Ah, okay, yeah, the cartoonish looking guy.
Yeah,
Okay, I remember him now. It doesn't
because he was
look
like,
normal.
yeah, because he was like, oh, you know, it's like normally I don't like to be waking up, but you know, I felt your massive holy energy coming from down the hall. Or, sorry, it was Keel, Keele. And you know, that's when Cosmo was like, oh my god, you just attract undead. You're part of our problem.
It's another really good Cosmo line when like he realizes that and he just goes lurk and then just disappears.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, because it's very like the world is very video game based. It feels like where they have like level up systems and points and shit.
Yeah.
And you can like multi-class too, which kind of seems to what Cosmo's going for.
Well, like apparently, adventurer can just dip into anything. Is the way that Cosmo describes it.
Yeah.
So he talks about in that same episode, he's like, "Man, I'm really glad that I went with adventurer because I can just have a wide range of these things." Because he talks about having like foresight, but then also having like magic and stuff.
Yeah, like he has magic, and it's weird because it's kind of like a halfway between soft and hard magic. Because like some magic has really strict rules, like Megumin can only use her big attack once.
Yeah.
But like then you have other ones where it's just like, well, why can Kazuma like take the big ass sword from that guy or that girl's underwear? Like why is it applied to that specifically?
I mean, some of it gets chalked back up to his luck, which I have a weird theory that it's not so much that Cosmo has such a high amount of luck that it's almost bad. I feel like that Aqua's luck is just so low that it's actually dragging him down. It's like Crow and Clover. They just kind of... They're not in balance, but they're fighting each other for how bad and good things are.
Also, real quick...
Like,
oh, go ahead.
Because, like, if you look at it, like, how many times has Aqua caused a problem, but they've nearly gotten a reward from it? Like,
Yeah.
the trip of them going to her city, where they were attacked by two different monsters and the guy tried to give him a reward. If you banked on that, you could have a lot of money, but Cosmo's morality, which shows up out of nowhere, was like, no, we can't do this.
Yeah,
We're part of
Cosmo's-
the problem. We're causing this. We're sorry. I'm so sorry.
His morality just kind of comes in and out. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like harass these like 8 women to do my bidding, and then okay, yeah, this town now you don't owe us anything.
Yeah.
You reminded me though, Konosuba also handles like sexual stuff very interestingly, and that's a very weird statement. But like, they talk about Cosmo jerking off when they were laying in the stables.
Yeah.
And they brought that up in like such a just random niche way, and then just completely drop it. Like they don't make it weird in any way. They just brought up the fact that that exists.
Well, aside from when Aqua is like, because, or no, it's in that same episode. We keep coming back to this one episode. Apparently, a lot happened in that one episode.
It's a good episode.
Because Cosmo was talking about his foresight, and he was like, "Man, what was that thing? I could just tell its outline." And Aqua's like, "Oh, that was just a low-level gremlin. It's a demon." He's like, "Wait, you can see that thing?" She's like, "Yeah, no, I have really good like dark vision, really good hearing." He's like, "Oh no, so you know that rustling that would occasionally happen in the in the stables?" She's like, "Oh yeah, no, I would just turn away and just try and go back to sleep." He's like, "Thank you." I was like, "Appreciate it."
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then just nobody ever goes into dark. Like everyone's always weirded out by darkness. Just
Yeah.
they're just like, all right, yeah, she's doing that. She's being pelted by cabbages. That's fine.
Yeah, darkness is. I love how like the like the best way to ever describe Konosuba is that it's an isekai where all the characters are dysfunctional assholes. But,
Yeah.
But I love the fact that like even like darkness in a way is the most capable, but she's also still very incapable. Like
Yeah.
like she's the most reasonable out of them because she's not like an asshole like the others, but she's just also like a freak.
Well, it's like if you look at the party, when you take away their personalities, you have an extremely powerful mage who can like level a city. You have a literal goddess, a noble knight who can take an insane beating. Like,
Just can't hit.
yeah, can't hit for shit. That's one of my favorite things. And it's like this party should be unstoppable, but they're really not.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you just have Kazuma actually just being very tactical.
he's
Like,
he's
he'll
well rounded
panic,
and
but
pretty
he's-
smart.
Yeah.
I do really love how, like, he just slowly picks him up one by one, despite him not wanting to, with each one of them. Like, he gets Aqua, and he's like, "Oh shit, I don't want you anymore." And she's like, "No, you're stuck with me." And pretty much the same thing happens with Megumin and Darkness.
Yeah. He was like, oh, immediate red flags with darkness. He was like, Yeah, like the first hint of her, and he was like, oh no. It's like, I can't let the other two see her. They'll want her so bad.
Yeah. They really don't go a whole lot of places. Like, they stay within the city, and then like a couple places out of town, and then they go to the other city, and that's about it. Like, we really don't see much of this world,
No.
which is
We hear about it occasionally, but
yeah.
not much.
It's really weird because, like, you know, there's a handful of things that I was expecting to have seen by now, which would be the big bad evil guy and, like, any of the 8 demon lords that are underneath his control.
We've
Well,
seen 3.
Yeah, we've seen a fair amount of them, surprisingly, because they all tend to somehow end up in the path of these idiots and then end up getting defeated by them. Like,
Or we've seen 4 and they've defeated 3. I'm trying to remember who all they were.
I believe they fought one in the movie,
Ah, yeah. that makes sense.
but the Dullahan who just comes to them because they won't stop blowing up his castle.
Yeah.
Which I love that montage where they just keep going and like exploding the castle. Like I love like every once in a while where we get to see this like true friendship between Megumin and Kazuma, where they just like goof around and do dumb things together instead of just like bickering and fighting. Like just like when they're like skipping together and stuff. Like they have fun sometimes.
Yeah, and I like the house that they all live in too. Like, they get that reward for what, saving the town from the giant spider.
No, that is actually... They get the house by clearing out the ghosts in it,
Ah, yeah, the weird ghost dolls.
because Aqua put just a barrier over the graveyard that Wiz was originally in control of. So all the ghosts just kept going to the house because it was abandoned.
It's another example of Aqua fucking up, but it benefiting them in the end.
And she does it twice. She does the same thing twice. Because she also did that in the lair with Keel, and that's why Vanir shows up. He's like, originally I was going to go work for Wiz, and so I could, get money and then buy my own, or build my own lair. But then I found this place abandoned. I just can't get past this one door because it has a very heavy magic seal around it.
Yeah, it's like Aqua is insanely powerful, but she just contributes nothing. Like, she has like her god blow, but it like never works.
Yeah.
Which I do actually want to say, the theatrics for the fights are always on point. They are like the most badass fight scenes. Like, skies are changing color, insane shockwave. Like, it's always satisfying to watch.
I like the rings that happens when people use magic.
Mm-hmm.
Just the beams coming down from the circles coming down from the sky.
It's always very satisfying to watch, and I always love it.
Yeah.
Like, if you take those scenes out, you're like, oh yeah, this is an action anime, and then you watch anything else, you're like, oh no, it's not.
Yeah, like when it's not supposed to be played for a joke, they actually sell Megumin's explosion very well.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it's supposed to be like a serious attack.
Yeah.
I also love that Wiz can just do that as well. Like, she's a powerful enough lich where she could pretty much match Megumi and still be fine.
Yeah. I think honestly Megumi's thing is that just like she just needs more. She needs a higher, put it in better terms, like magic cap.
Yeah.
Because like it just seems like explosion takes a lot out of you. So if you increase that amount that you have in you, you should be fine.
It's also very weird because they don't really explain how you level up. I mean, do they explain? I don't remember.
They don't explain leveling up. They explain how you get skills though.
Yeah. But they don't explain how you get more like points to get skills.
Yeah, it just seems like they said a little bit. It's like it's killing monsters is a lot of it. Like that's the only time that they mention it. It's like, oh yeah, no, you kill monsters and you get points to level.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time that they mention it. Other than that, they don't give anything else that you could possibly level from. So.
Huh. So, I guess let's talk about the plot a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember, it just kind of is job to job with like some elements of story going on, but it's just them picking up crew for most of the first season. If I remember that right, I haven't seen Konosuba in a while.
I mean, they pick up crew in like the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's not like they kind of get that party together really fast. It's not like a big like 7 deadly sins like let's go collect the characters thing.
Yeah.
Like there really isn't much of a plot. It like literally just is like kind of jokey stuff happening until they accidentally run into something big. But even then, that kind of contributes to an overarching plot. But the anime hasn't really gotten far enough to really have that overarching plot actually matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because by episode 3 they already have darkness. Because episode 3 is panties in the right hand. That's when they get darkness. Because then the one after that is when the Dualahan shows up.
Is it really right after that? Wow.
Yeah, because it's the Dualahan and then the dude with the magic sword, and then the Dualahan comes back.
I love how
And
the
then Winter
Dulan
starts.
fights. He just tosses his head up in the air and then fucking starts attacking.
That's so clever. Like that.
Oh,
That's like the coolest like thing I've ever seen like a Dualahan do. I was just like, that's so cool.
yeah.
Cool, he has
I love how
perfect
Wiz is
control
like-
of the battlefield.
Yeah, it's like Wiz is like, yeah, no, he was a really good swordsman. Kind of pervy though. She's walking down the hallway and he's just like, oops, my head slipped, and he's just like in a bowling pose.
Yeah.
Oh god. I love how like that's the only time aside from him being like stop blowing up my house where he just is very out of character.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Him reacting to darkness is always pretty funny. No, stop! They'll get the wrong impression about me.
You're gonna defile me and take me to your dungeon. No, I won't!
Yeah, I love how he's trying to save face, like he's the bad guy, but he doesn't want to seem that bad.
What is wrong with you, bro? I love in the dub that he's voiced by the same guy who does Gamagori, so that man can pull off exaggeration very well, and I love it.
Oh, god, the Darkness is probably my favorite character just from the sheer fact of how she weirds everybody out.
Yeah.
Season 2 has one of my favorite jokes in it, but we'll get to that.
Oh man, season 2, like, I still don't know which one is like better in my opinion. They both are different from each other, but they're both really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like season 1, but I think season 2 is so much better because it has the arc where they go to the other city, and it has the darkness episode where they go to her house. That's
Oh, man.
one of my favorite episodes.
It's so fucking good.
That episode is just insane.
Yeah. Let's talk about the hot springs a bit. I love everything about this. They get like a caravan to go to another city where these hot springs are, and they're like, oh yeah, Aqua's like, oh yeah, this town worships me. Maybe we'll get something. Who knows?
Which she doesn't mention until they get there.
Does she? Oh yeah, she doesn't. That's right.
Because Megami is just like, well, we could go to the I forget what the name of the town is because it's like a weird two-part name. But she was, well, we could go here. It's literally a place of hot springs and like saunas. And they're like, Cosmo is just like, yeah, okay, that doesn't sound too bad. We've been, it's like I could use that to help with my broken neck that I suffered the last time.
Why did Wiz go again?
That was because Vonir. Alright, that's a weird two-part thing because Vonir had those weird adventurer toilet things that were broken.
I forgot, yeah, because
Wiz
Kazuma
found them and he basically burned her like alive. Because Kazuma walks in and is like, what happened to her? He's like, she found these and I was going to throw them away, but she found them before I could, and well, I can't let her sell these. It's like every time I'm not looking, she buys something stupid.
I love that Kazuma's just selling shit from Japan. Like he designed the weird blanket table thing.
I love when he makes the kotatsu and he's just hiding under it and using chill touch. And anybody gets near him, he just hisses at them. I love it. Like, yeah, anytime he makes something Japanese, like I love when he makes the katana, and then like the blacksmith is like, "I think I just saw a hero born today," and then he can't get through the door. And it's like, "Can you make it smaller?"
That's another thing. Is like he's like, "Oh yeah, now to name it," and then Megami slaps like the naming thing, and it burns the name onto the
Chun Chun Maru.
I fucking love Chun Chun Maru.
I have a weird feeling that the dude who keeps showing up, who's actually like it's not a inventor, he's some kind of like artisan. I feel like he's a villain that's just kind of chilling in that town.
I feel like I know what character you're talking about because that guy is literally every single shopkeeper in Isekai Quartet. Like any place that sells something, that guy is the guy who sells it.
Dude with pink hair, mohawk, no shirt, weird metal collar and suspenders.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like, and he's almost everywhere that Kazuma is. Like, when he goes to the succubus place, he's there. When the first time he shows up to the bar, he's there. Every time he's at the bar, he's there. When they're leaving town, he's there. On the opposite end of the gates as they're leaving on the caravan. In the shop when he gets the katana.
Yeah, like in Isekai Quartet, he's literally he works at literally every place. And I think at some point they ask him, but he doesn't really. They ask him how he manages to do that, and he just doesn't explain.
Yeah, like I didn't feel it until like season 2, but I'm like, I feel like this guy is actually a villain or something. There's something weird about him. It's just off.
So they get into they're in the town, and is there a giant statue of Aqua? Is that how they learn, or is it Aqua telling?
Aqua says it in like the first few minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Aqua, but it is her. Like, I think she kind of gloats about it as well.
Yeah.
Also, I do have to say the lead up to them getting to the city, the whole caravan trip is so funny. There's so many great moments, like them constantly getting attacked by zombies because of Aqua. The bird things that they want to jump over, like they play like chicken with the hardest thing that they can find, which turns out to be darkness. Like every problem they encounter is one of his party members.
Yeah, I forgot. I love. She's like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna hit me," and then they just jump over her.
Yeah, like this, and then she starts like moaning because she feels like they're teasing him. It's like, oh come on, like dark Cosmos, like it's like there's nothing.
I love when she's like, "Is this what they call foreplay?" And he's like, "No, it is not." And Aqua just blesses her. She's like, "There, now she definitely won't get hit."
Is that when they tie her to the back of the caravan and just start driving with her behind them?
Yeah, it's that same episode.
Yeah, they did that.
Is she gonna be okay? Yeah, she'll be fine. Just go.
Don't look at me. It was her idea. Sure, it was. The Aqua's just healing. Heal, 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 heal.
I remember when they're picking seats, and he's like, was like, yeah, it was like, I'll let you sit up front if you can beat me like one time in rock paper scissors. And then she's like, well, that sounds easy, because he like gives her a super big advantage. But he's like, I'll warn you, I've never lost at rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
His hard cuts to her crying, saying that he must have cheated.
And she's like, 3 out of 5, come on.
I love the badass pose he does when he says that he never loses, like his hand like over his head. Ugh.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that whole caravan thing is great. So then in the town they learn that everyone in the town is utter psychopaths and are just like obsessed with getting people to join their church.
Yep. Because it's Aqua's church. And everyone has. I love the build up to that though, because everyone since like season 1 has said that, oh, they're a bunch of crazy people.
And it's like it makes sense because like your ranking or the amount of power you have as a god is based on how many followers you have. So Aqua's church being crazy and obsessed with getting followers makes like sense with how high in the ranking she is.
Yeah. Which is funny because like she even says like, yeah, I may not have as many followers as Eris, but my people are so devout that it's very powerful.
And that everything with those people is so funny. Like, I think my favorite scene in all of Konosuba is still the scene where the little girl tries to ask him for his autograph. And she's like, "What's wrong?" It's like, "What's wrong, Onicha? Just sign it." And then he just rips it. And he's like, it's just like this like multi-take shot.
That shot sequence is oddly well animated.
I love that they give her a style change, like a full-on animation style change for that little girl doing that pose where she's like, "What are you doing?" And then they reuse that in the fight later when she's like cheering on Aqua. Because like you have everyone else normally animated, and then you just have her weirdly bolded out, just like the weirdly shaped hand, just like.
Love that.
And then just Darkness, like learning that everybody in there hates like anybody who worships Ares, so she just wears her Ares pendant on full display.
Oh yeah, they keep like fucking spitting on the floor near her, and she just like loses it. My favorite is when they're in the restaurant, and they bring Cosmo like a glass of water, and then they set like a dog bowl on the floor for Darkness, and she just goes, "Cosmo, we have to move here."
She's a compliment of the manager.
God, I love that.
I love when they go into the church and the attendant is just like, "Oh yes, no, the Archmage is right over there," and it's Megumin traumatized with a bunch of the sign-up sheets like tucked in her collar. And she's like, "Oh, and your other friend is also outside. The children are dealing with her," and it's just a bunch of children throwing rocks at Darkness. It's like, even the children bring me to my knees, Kazuma. It's like, all right, that's enough of that.
And then Aqua's like doing confessionals, and she's convincing everybody that Ares pads her chest.
I love that. I love that Aqua just gets lost, and now she's doing confessionals in a church, her own church.
Yeah, the guys that was like, I saw Art of Ares, and now I'm obsessed with her boobs. It's like she pads her chest.
No, it was art of Aqua. He was like, "I just feel so wrong for looking."
Oh, it was Ares, because that's
Ares.
what she like gets him off of it by saying Ares pads her chest.
Oh, jeez.
Which I believe that joke comes back up later. Like he brings that up later, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does use that again.
I love that, and then I love the what's it called? Like the giant slime monster villain for that season. He's Hans. Yeah, Hans is interesting. I like how he's a human, and then like when he just is done, then he just turns into a giant slime demon.
Yeah, I love it because he's going through the same thing that characters are. Like, there's just that scene where Cosmo finds him, and he's also just fed up with everything. Like, he's got like all of these soaps and stuff.
Oh yeah, you see him. Is it him or the merchant guy? Just like tossing them into the river at some point.
It's Hans. It's like Hans is just so done with it. Like they both like realize at the same time how fed up they are with this place.
Oh,
Also when Cosmo gets in the hot spring with Hans and the other girl, and he's staring at her the whole time.
Oh yeah,
She's
the
just like,
unisex hot springs because there's like a guy, a girl, and then the unisex section.
And she's just like, could you please stop looking at me? You're making me very uncomfortable, and I would like to leave. He's like, go ahead. It's like, I'm just sitting here. Okay, then, I'm gonna get out.
I love all of that. It's the entire series, and then like Aqua purifies all the water, so like all the herbs, the like natural minerals and shit are just gone. So she effectively ruins the income of the town temporarily.
I love that they set that up beforehand, too, where just, at one point, Cosmo just keeps asking for tea, and he's like, this is warm water again. Like, oh my, I must have accidentally purified it again. This is the third time.
Yeah, any water she touches, or is it touches or gets close to, it just immediately is purified.
I don't know. I would think touch, but...
I love their plan that Kazuo even comes up with when they have to purify that big ass lake. How they just stick Aqua in a cage because there's alligators everywhere, and then just put her in the lake. it's such a good and stupid plan. I love it so much. Konosuba is a very cleverly written show.
It's also got like really good animation. Like I read the fight animation though, it's got like really good like it's really good at selling like kind of like squatch and stretch a bit sometimes. Like some of Aqua's fits are so funnily animated. My favorite is the one where she just literally like she just starts crying and like swinging her arms around like a baby and then flops on the ground.
And then it does like for some reason it says pause, and it's just a freeze frame of her on the ground, and then it cuts back to normal.
I think that was the eye catch, but I think they literally I think that's where the commercial was.
If that's an eye catch, that is probably the best eye catch because it is almost seamless.
And then just hear Aqua crying Cosmo's name. It's like Kazuma. Kazuma's always so funny.
And then I love that he meets other people that have been isekai'd in this world. Like he meets the guy that has the two adventurers with him.
I love that guy, the joke of that guy, because he's like straight up the stereotypical isekai guy, and then Cosmo ruins everything for him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, if you can beat me in a fight, if he can beat me in a fight, then he gets Aqua, but I don't remember what he gets.
Anything he wanted or something like that?
Yeah. And so he just takes his sword and slams it on the top of his head.
It's like 3, 2, 1, go, steal! What?
He like pawns his sword and he's like crying. He's like, I need that sword.
And then it keeps coming. I was like, oh no, it's all right. We just gotta wait for our number one guy. Wait a minute, who's our number one guy? Yeah, no, it's not Keanu. It's Kinyu. It's like, yeah, Kinyu will help us. And he's like, wait a minute, where have I heard the name before? Does that do with a sword? Oh no, that was to do with a sword. It's like, man, I hope he's found that sword.
Do we see him again at some point, right?
We see him a couple more times, and eventually he does get the sword back. They cut to an island, and he's just working manual labor like Kazuma did. And then, the next time we see him, he's back with the sword. Oh, no, but the next time I see him is, he's in the OVA for Season 2.
That's right. Because I think the same joke happens again, where they pawn off his sword.
No, actually not. His sword doesn't get messed with in that one.
I thought they do that joke more than once.
No.
No.
No, it's just, it takes him forever to get it back. There's 2 fights where yeah, no, it's like, man, where is that guy? We haven't seen him in a while.
And then the only other episode that I want to talk about is the Darkness episode.
Oh. Yeah, good old a good match for this noble's daughter.
Oh, I love that. Darkness gets called into her house pretty much for like, she's like, oh yeah, you're being married off, or it's like we found a spouse that might take you.
Well, it was because she got taken to the One Lord's house after Cosmo's trial,
Yeah.
because that was the agreement. Her father doesn't like the Lord, but her father really likes his son because his son is a good noble. So they both agree for her to marry his son. So then the episode is about her trying to break it off with this guy or make that arrangement not happen.
Yeah, because if she gets married, then she can't adventure anymore.
Meanwhile, Cosmo is just like, yeah, it's like, oh wait, that means if she gets married, there will be an opening of the party, and we won't have to feel bad about it because we're not kicking her out. And then the dad offers him money to make sure that nothing bad happens.
She also doesn't want to. If I recall correctly, she also doesn't want to marry him because he's like too goody two shoes.
He's
Yeah, they
too,
find
he's
that.
too nice to her.
Yeah, she said that later in the episode. He's like that kind of. It's like he's a hard-working, noble gentleman. I hate it. I haven't heard a man who's ugly or ruthless or both. Preferably.
Yeah, the rant that she goes on is so hilarious. Where she's like, "My preferred type of man is a man who would drink and smoke and throw bottles at me. And yo, why don't you sell that slutty body of yours on the streets and make us some money?"
Yeah.
It's like this whole like thing that like spiel that she goes on. It lasts like a long time.
It's so fucking funny. Oh yeah, and then when she's fighting with Kazuma, why was she fighting with Kazuma again?
Because the other dude wouldn't, or no, she challenged the suitor to a fight. He initially didn't agree, but then she talked about Cosmo, and he's like, "All right, fine." I'll fight you. He trounced her, but she still won't stop because it's Darkness. He gets weirded out, and then Darkness is like, "Yeah, why can't you be like Cosmo? Cosmo treats women like equals. He'll beat them no matter what." And he's like, "Well, wait, hold on." He's like,
Also, I love the tactics that Kazuma uses in that fight where he just splashes her with water and then she'll touches it.
And yeah, then he's using like draining touch when they're doing that like test of strength thing with their hands.
It's like I like the suitor's reaction. It's like, "Oh, I didn't expect you to be using magic." It's like, "Oh yeah, I mean it's a pretty handy thing." It's like, "Wait, is that a bad thing to use in a sword fight?" He's like, "I don't think so." And then he frees her. It's like, "Ooh, that's pretty rough, man."
I love how he just fights so underhandedly and doesn't care about it.
Yeah.
That, and I like how the different styles they put Darkness into, because they give her a different haircut and like outfit and all that shit, like a couple times in that episode alone.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of cool. I lied. I take it back. There's one more episode I want to talk about, and that's the one where they find the castle of the one guy, or not the castle, but like the tomb of that one guy who can just create anything he thinks of.
Oh, the OVA. Yeah, that's the OVA for season 2. Oh wait, no, that's not. That's the last episode of season 2, I believe.
No, it's the OVA.
Oh no, it is the OVA. I forgot that there's like 3 missions in that one, so.
I love that OVA because they go through the dungeon, they find the giant mech outside, and like this is definitely like kind of sus. You know, it's a giant Japanese style mech, and
Yeah.
See,
I love the setup for that because it's just Cosmo only gets talked into these quests because he has a fangirl talking to him, and then Luna just comes up and starts offering him it's like, well, to the guy who just gave the hardest spear we have to a newbie, maybe this quest will interest you.
Yeah. And
Fight this golem. That's not a golem. That's a robot.
oh yeah, they call it a golem. That's right. And then what's it called? Megumin wants to take it home, and the Darkness is like, "No, but I'll make you one when we get home." And then
Oh no, Aqua.
Aqua. I'm
says,
sorry.
"I'll make you one." And then she's like, "Yeah, Yeah, it's like, don't worry, I can make you one better. It'll just be made out of milk cartons. Milk cartons? What?
And then like later they cut to them actually doing it, and it's so fucking good. Oh god.
Yeah, fucking Cosmo is like, you know what? Sometimes she can actually be really handy in the weirdest times.
I love that. Yeah, so they go through the dungeon and then they find the guy's like lounge area, and it's full of just like a bunch of modern Japanese stuff.
Yeah, they go through the ruins that the robot was protecting.
Yeah, and because I'm pretty sure what Megamine just blows it up, if I remember right.
Yeah, blows up the robot, and then they just get another quest to go check out the ruins.
Yeah. Well, not before the robot like flicks Darkness's boobs for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, knowing what we know now makes sense, but you know.
Yeah, it's still just weird. Yeah, and so they go through the ruins. Do they read the diary before they find the robot or after?
Which robot? The big one or the?
The other one.
It is before, because
Okay.
it's what gets them the code to get into that one.
That's right. And it's like I think they're reading it, and then it says something like the ultimate pleasure robot or something like that. Like the guy was trying to make like a sex doll. Like this guy can make anything he wants by thinking of it.
Yeah, I like the start of that where it's just like, because he was another one that Aqua sent here, and he at first just gets conflicted. It's like, do I want to be the Devil King? It's like, I have such an incredible power. Like, it's like I'm torn, and he's like slowly going mad, and then he's like, nah, I'm just gonna relax. He's like, you know what? It's like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and I want to build a giant sexy robot. And he's like, well, I can't really do that, so I'll split him into two. So he makes the giant robot, and then he starts trying to make his perfect robot woman.
Yeah, and then Cosmo pretty much gets the codes for it, and it comes as like, okay, who's my owner? Because it doesn't say master.
No, it does say master.
Does
in the
it?
dub, at least.
No, I think in the dub it doesn't say that, or the sub it doesn't say that.
Yeah.
The Cosmo's like, oh yeah, it's me, and then I think it cuts to like a flashback of the guy's like, oh yeah, I'm a masochist, and then the robot has like a whip and is like a dominatrix.
Yeah. And then it turns out that it's the guy who made the giant mobile fortress destroyer.
Yeah, he was dead there too.
Yeah, he was dead in that thing. It's like, how long has he been here?
I love that. I love that. Like the only reason why it was unstoppable is because he forgot to put a stop button on it.
Yeah. I don't know what this thing's going to run on. It's like, it just kind of works. Like, I need to tell them something. Yeah, I'll tell them it's really rare material. Oh my god, they actually got it. God, I hope this actually works now. And it turns out it just runs off of steam power. It's like, then why did he have the other thing in it?
I love how shitty a lot of the people are in this world. I want to meet more like isekai to people. I think that'd be fun to
I
see.
think that's 3? Yeah, it's only 3. This is Kazuma, Mitsurugi, and that dude.
I forget, why does Cosmo get to come back?
Aqua just keeps bringing him back, and he was able, or Eris was able to bend the rule one time because Aqua yelled at her. She got really mean about it too. And Kazuma was just like, "Oh my god, I think I'm in love with this goddess."
Well, I love this scene in the second season where he's like, you know what? I'm staying here. He's like, I don't want to be revived.
Oh yeah, that doesn't Megamine talk him into coming back.
Yeah, like they managed to talk him to coming back, and like it's an interesting thing because Megamine like is very noticeably the most upset about it. Like Darkness and Aqua are just kind of like but Megamine is just straight up mad about it.
Yeah, it's nice, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I really hope that we get a season 3.
Oh, one more thing with that OVA. I do like the end when it's revealed that the one girl that's been like his fangirl was paid by Luna and her superiors to make that party do more quests. Because even though they're dumb, they're effective.
I love
And
that.
Kazuma just ends it by hearing this news and then just steals both their panties off screen. He just like puts his hands in, he's like, steal! And then you hear them both yelling. So that one girl, like, what was her name? Like Rod or something like that? Or
Yeah.
Ran, something like that? Her design was very weird, but very fitting for that show. It was like one boob armor, and then overall where the strap covered the other, it was a very weird design.
Yeah, they have some very weird character design in this, where it's like not everyone looks like a main character, but everyone has a unique design and like armor or some kind of ability.
Yeah, like even the background characters, they stand out enough to where you'll recognize them. Like I've seen, there's like the other wizard girl who has the crazy looking hat. There's the one fighter chick who just like has a whole bunch of upper body armor, but then like nothing lower than like her waist.
Yeah.
There's the dude with a mask. And the dude with a weird spiral pompadour thing.
Would they? I mean, there wouldn't be a reason for them not to make a season 3, because I mean they made a season 2 of ReZero pretty recently, and that's fairly old. So I think anything's possible at this point.
I mean, it. Like I don't know if things have changed, but I remember them specifically saying that a season 3 would be a long wait. Like they specifically said, like stated that if they made a season 3, it would be quite a while after.
Any reason why?
I don't remember why, but I remember them saying a reason. Like it.
Let's see, the last thing they had was the movie came out a year and a month ago.
I was about to say it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was last year, but like as a recording, it was August 30th, 2019.
I'm hoping a dub comes out for the movie, because that movie is so freaking funny. There's so many good jokes in that, like darkness essentially giving up because she learns that male orcs are endangered. Where she can't live out her fantasy of being violated by male orcs, so she just kind of like physically gives up. The entirety of Megumin's village all being Chunies.
I love that. I love that she is just a super powerful Chuny. It is such a funny fucking thing.
I love giving. I love like the only other thing I've seen do this is Fire Emblem Awakening. The idea of giving a Chuny actual power, but somehow they're still a Chuny. So I feel like the whole point of a Chuny is that they believe they have power when they don't. But then you somehow still give a Chuny power and make it work. Like Megumi with her dumb names, she gives the little cat bat wings. The eye patch. I believe don't they like even don't they point out at one point that she doesn't actually even have to chant her explosion spell? She just does it because she wants to.
Yeah. Because she changes it up like every time too.
Oh yeah, it's different every single time. I love that.
I love when they're outside of the one guy's lair and she's just like practicing a new one, just a new chant. She's like,
yeah, then the cat does that weird vibrating thing and then falls over.
Explosion! Wow!
Like her entire village is like that. They're like the introduction of them is so funny because they all come in, the party's being attacked and then those guys show up and they all have this like speech where and they all show off a different element. Like one person has like ice all around them. It was like I'll chill you to your bones. Like one guy's literally stepping and poison swamps are appearing under him. And he talked about how strong his poison is. And like another guy with like fire, and then they all just use the same spell called Light of Saber, but like it gets shorter each time they say it. It's like Light of Saber. It's like of Saber, burr. The Kazuma just points out what was the heck was that whole speech about chilling you to the bone and stuff.
Yeah, I love that, and I love when they do that too. They just keep cutting the word shorter, like when Megumi was practicing her explosion on the castle. and it was just like the full explosion. And they just kept like cutting a letter off of each one. Oh, so good.
I do, if like still talking about other episodes, I do like the other OVA, Blessings on This Wonderful Choker,
Which one?
is
Oh, that one. Yeah.
yeah. Kazuma accidentally puts on a choker while they're in Wiz's shop that won't come off until the wish that you wished is granted. But if you don't do it within 4 days, it strangles you to death. And just so much perversion happens.
Yeah, Kazuma's just like, oh, yeah. They're like, oh yeah, what's your wish? And he's like, oh, I didn't have one.
It's like, I don't remember.
And they're like, okay, well, we'll just do what you want until maybe the collar pops off, and he just fucking has them doing the dumbest shit.
Like he's just laying on Wiz's thighs for the longest time.
Because they're cold.
Cold, but like soft. He keeps having Darkness take off her armor and just do workouts.
And I love that they leave, like, he's like, alright, give me 100 push-ups, and then they leave her in that room. And she's like, oh yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be able to do them, but then when you left the room, I got a second wind in me. It's like, oh my
God. More
god.
embarrassed. It's like I felt even more embarrassed when my drive continued. He just keeps sending Aqua just to go get him things like champagne and whatever the sticky bun things are.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's just having Yun and Megami do strip rock paper scissors.
Also, it's like one of my favorite running jokes is Yun trying to come by to have a friendly like duel or something with Megamine. She brings like a fucking whole pig and like.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, can I get that gift wrap, please?
God, I love Yun.
It's like, Megamine, is anyone home?
She just wants to. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot about the Union cutaways during the trip to the hot spring city. Like, Union had no idea that they all left, so she just keeps trying to duel Megami even though she's gone.
Dude, it's like the first one's like she just comes with 2 baskets of fruit. It's like, all right, Megami, I'm gonna challenge you to eating competition. Megami. This one, she just brings the whole hog and it's like, I've come to challenge you, and afterwards we can enjoy this whole hog. Is anyone home?
It's so sad.
She's just like this neglected rival, like she wants to be Megamine's rival, but Megamine is just not interested.
I love it.
So pure and innocent.
And so, I guess we could talk about the movie a little bit, because I haven't actually seen the movie.
Same.
So I guess Zach could talk about the movie a little bit. What's it actually about?
It's essentially like Union shows up, and then like she has a letter that her Megamine's family wants them to visit or whatever. So they all go to Megamine's village. And then, like, like a majority of the movie is just them kind of goofing around around the village, and then eventually they get attacked by one of the Demon Lord generals, which is like I think it was like a chimera or something.
Yes, because I found that character. They do list them as a chimera, which threw me off because they were in the wiki has like characters, and then they can split up into male and female. I clicked on male and they were there, but they looked female, and I remember that, oh right, all demons have no gender. I forgot that Vonnier said that. I'm like, oh right.
Oh no, they do make a joke about that where like the person says like, oh, I can change my body in any way that I want. Because I think like they keep hitting on Cosmo, and Cosmo's like interested, and then he ends up learning that it's like a guy who just like can change its body however it wants, and then he's just not interested anymore. They also at one point in the movie find a lab, like they find this deep underground lab from like a guy who got isekai'd a long time ago, and he like, so it's just kind of like interesting, like like they find a bunch of Japanese that Cosmo can read. But like to the freaking Chuny guys, like the village, they like worship it, like see as this like ancient text or whatever. But Cosmo is just like nothing. Yeah, like the way they don't like the way they like take things are really weird. Like they worship like random things, and then like at one point they find this like super rare sword that a guy is just using as like a freaking clothes hanger. It's like they all, because everybody in the village uses magic, so like they just have no need for weapons. Because like everybody's there is like super good at magic. It's like Megumin, instead of using Light of Saber like everybody else, she put all her points into Explosion.
Which they never really elaborate what that. I mean, it's kind of just assumed that there's just a spell called Explosion, and she just keeps racking up the points. But
yeah, well, she talks about later that she put points into like spell, like speed casting, and a bunch of other things. So it's like it seems like there's like the main spell, but then there's like supplemental, like just stat boosts, more or less, that you can get. She talked about it as like, I really ranked up a lot of points into like bettering my explosive magic. I was like, I don't even think Darkness could survive this anymore.
It's also interesting because it's kind of implied that after your magic has been depleted, it starts taking away from stamina. And then like if your stamina gets too low, then I think it starts taking away from health as well. I might be interpreting that slightly wrong, but like, I mean, because she'll use Explosion, then she's out for the count. Like, she can't move.
Yeah, because like even having a Cosmo at one point.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's like with Wiz, how if he drains too much magic from her, she starts fading away.
Well, she only ever has been fading away if something happened with Aqua.
Wasn't he transferring over power from Wiz to Megumin so that she can use an attack, or was that Aqua?
No,
he was siphoning power to Megumin from somebody, but I don't remember who it was.
It's Darkness.
Was it Darkness?
No, in that fight he took it from Aqua. Other times he's taking it from Darkness to give to Wiz because he found that Darkness has like nearly unlimited stamina. It's like, well, you got plenty to spare. It's like you basically have an endless well.
But like if you didn't love Union already, the fact that she like sacrificed a bit of her like proficiency in magic, which is the village's whole thing, to save Megumin so Megumin could keep doing what she wanted to do, is a sweet little thing.
Yeah, so explain that to me. How does that work? Like, what exactly was the circumstances that led up to that?
I think it's just Megumin was like in the forest and was getting attacked by something, and then Megumin, like, she wouldn't be able to use explosion magic or whatever to get herself out of the situation, so she was like, I have to put a point in something else to save myself right now. And then Union comes in, like, Union knew that the explosion thing meant a lot to Megumin, so she sacrificed her own proficiency to, like, essentially get Megumin out of that situation so she could keep doing what she wanted.
Okay. Respectable.
Yeah. So we learn the background of the village, where they're all, like, the scientist dude who got isekai'd, he essentially made them, like, they're all, like, genetically modified, like, super soldiers, kinda. But my favorite, like, joke is that you see, like, a flashback, and he's like, and then he's like, I gave them the name, whatever they were, like, the Crimson, whatever. And then, like, you just see all of the Crimson people, and they're all, like, jumping up and down, super excited, because it turns out that they were all Chunies beforehand. So that's why everybody in the village is Chunies, because they're like their ancestors were Chunies.
Just a whole race of Chunies. It's amazing.
Yeah, because like I think they were all volunteers to this experiment because they wanted this like power. So like this, so essentially the Crimson people are all Chunies because they're descendant from Chunies.
I love
It's
that.
essentially part of their culture is just being Chuny. So they
That.
also, I forgot that you talked about like you talked about Cosmo like dying so many times because I forgot that was a thing because Cosmo also beats this villain by dying in the most elaborate way because like he literally gives up to the villain and lets the villain like absorb him into their body and they become one and then they just freaking kill Cosmo.
Jeez.
Fucking hell.
Getting way too used to using that.
He uses it almost as creatively as what's his face from ReZero.
He's it's one of his specialties. Yeah. Also like the movies, obviously since it's about Megumin's village and all that, the movie's very Megumin focused, especially the relationship between Megumin and Cosmo. Like they kind of get closer during the course of the movie, and there's even like a little touching scene at the end where Megumin gives Cosmo her level up card and lets him decide where the points go.
Huh. It's kind of cool. Yeah, the level up cards are kind of weird because it's implied like, because it's a physical thing, but you never see them like either storing it or doing anything with them.
Yeah, my question is like, can you lose that?
Yeah,
How do
like,
you get a replacement
are
if
you
lose
fucked
that
if you lose that?
And like the fact that like we see in the movie is that other people can influence it. So like you could literally just like if someone had unspent points, you could take their card and then put their points in somewhere bad, I guess.
And it's like because Cosmo has steal as well. Could he steal somebody's card?
Maybe.
Let's get some convoluted shit going on in this. And then I wonder if there's like a level cap because it's kind of implied that there's a somewhat of a level cap.
Yeah, that's what I figured with like the way they talk about Megumin's magic in the movie makes like really made me made me think that there probably is like a limit, and like that's why Megumin doesn't want to put her points anywhere else because if she spends a single point in anything else, she couldn't have the greatest explosion magic in the world. At least that was my thought process.
I mean, it makes sense, especially with the other context clues of this. It does make sense, but I think that it might like it also seems to be the chance of like there are things that could affect that, like what. Like I'm assuming that Wiz has like a higher cap than other people does because she's a lich.
Mm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it's probably high because there was like, you know, in the fight with the Dualahan, there was that, or no, sorry, with the Mobile Fortress, there was that one guy who's like, man, I'm level 30, I should have been out of this town by now.
Yeah, that's another thing is like they talk like people talk like that. So what the hell is out there in that world? Like, is there a town of just like level 90 adventures? Like, are there areas that are tougher than where they are now? Because they're very
Yeah, 'cause it's like that's the town of beginnings, pretty much.
yeah, they're in like a starter town.
Well, then no one goes out during winter.
I love the cabbage season. It's such a weird thing, but I freaking love it.
You know, weird like flying cabbages.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I like about this world is that it's just like, yeah, it's normal fancy things, and then just like, oh yeah, no, the cabbages fly here. What? Why wasn't my reward better? Well, looks like you got some lettuce in there. Lettuce, well, lettuce is not as good as cabbage.
I love it.
And then also there's for more of a Konosuba fix, there's Isekai Quartet, which is great because like you can't flanderize the Konosuba character because the Konosuba characters are already flanderized. Like you watch Isekai Quartet and like you get these serious animes, you get ReZero, you get Tanya, and you get Overlord. where they're serious like most of the time in a completely now comedy anime, so they're like flanderized to just all have like a joke to them. But like the Konosuba characters are just the Konosuba character. They can't change because they already are like just comedic weirdos.
I love that. I love that so much.
The and the dub of Isekai Quartet is pretty good with the Konosuba actors again.
We'll probably do an episode on Isekai Quartet at some point, but I want to get a couple more of the main four out of there.
Considering this is the first, no, this
second. We did ReZero.
And we still gotta do Overlord and
Tanya the Evil.
Yeah. Which I don't know. Have you seen Tanya, Jarrett?
No,
Oh, yeah.
I've not. I've heard Logan talk about it, but
It's real good.
my brain, like from the animation I saw, my brain got Hellsing vibes. But that's purely just on the animation style.
I mean, you're not far off. I mean, tonally wise, yeah. Like setting wise, no.
I mean, I literally said just pure like animation style. It looked like, and it gave me just the Hellsing vibes, which isn't a bad thing. I kind of liked Hellsing. There were things I liked about Hellsing. There were other things I didn't, but
Yeah. Anything else we really want to say about Konosuba? I definitely say check it out. It's my favorite isekai, I'd probably say.
yeah, no, I would definitely say it's my favorite isekai. Just because it takes everything of an isekai and it runs with the jokes. Like the jokes of an isekai, like just, dude being shut in and eat things. It's a fantasy world. Taking fantasy world elements, turning them on their head, making jokes out of them.
And I'm very interested to see the later seasons because it just seems it's going to be getting more plot heavy after it's like established the world and the characters and whatnot. So I'm very interested to see where that goes, and I do need to check out the movie still.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that it's. I feel like it has the Kill la Kill effect of how it handles the ecche moments and just the weirdly sexual bits. That it hits you with them so often and so much that they become part of the story without becoming distracting. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, because like Kazuma is such a pervy asshole that like those moments feel like that seems like something Kazuma would do.
Yeah, it's like it's him, darkness, the occasional weird shots of Aqua, but it's just like
that one bass scene with Megumin. It's like
that's another thing. Aqua's dress is just this weird infinity of like, what the fuck is she wearing?
Oh yeah, that's a great running joke. Is that there's no way of actually telling whether or not Megumin's wearing panties. In fact. Funny joke is that the official figurines for for Aqua don't they don't give her panties in that either. They make it like a thing that you can't see up. So like even the merchandise keeps this joke going of like, is Aqua wearing like underwear or not?
But they don't really draw attention to it is the weirdest part. Like, it's there, but, like, the characters never talk about it.
It's like... What do you think? Like, Cosmo's stolen panties from Chris multiple occasions.
Megumin,
Luna, that one girl from the OVA.
He just tries it on Aqua, nothing happens. He's like, wait a minute.
He threatened the two girls with the sword dude.
I love that though, like the way he does his hand.
It's so creepy.
I love during the trial when there's the one merchant. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I saw the entire encounter when the two girls are talking about how he was like being creepy to them about stealing their panties." Like, "Oh yes, no, I saw that go down. His hand motions were really creeping me out." It just cuts to his hand doing the thing. Like, oh god.
I love it. All right.
What was it? What was his nicknames? Like Trash,
Yeah.
Kazuma Trash, and Sato Garbage, something like that.
All right. Thank you for joining us. You can find links to everything in the link dump, along with our Twitters and other social medias if you feel like following us. As always, we post twice a month and occasionally have a special episode, so be sure to stick around for that. Be sure to join us next time. And as always, have a good day.
Bye, Internet.
Bye.
Bet on it.
Nope.